Facts Verse presents. After a disabled groom went behind his bride's back, she broke down in tears on their wedding day. Kevin Taylor wasn't always in a wheelchair. There was a time when he was younger, when he could walk on his own, run with his friends, and play. But one day, Kevin broke his leg. Now, a broken leg can be pretty painful, but that type of injury is very treatable. Emergency rooms deal with broken bones on a daily basis. They're often straightforward injuries and only take a few weeks to recover from. Kevin's injury, however, was different. The human body is a complex machine, and you never really know what's going on inside. And that was the case with Kevin. When he went to the hospital after breaking his leg, his doctors discovered that he had an unusual condition called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, or RSD. Strokes or heart attacks will often trigger the condition, but it can also be triggered by an injury, such as a broken leg. When his leg broke, the sympathetic nervous system signals blood vessels to contract and reduce the flow of blood to the location of the wound so that there's minimal blood loss. The pain caused by RSD is horrible. It is constant and it causes a deep, cold, throbbing, aching, or burning pain. And it can also make the skin sensitive to everyday things, just like wearing clothes or taking a shower would actually be painful on that area. After trying many different treatments, the doctors realized the only way to help Kevin and to treat his pain would be to amputate his leg. That meant he would have to deal with challenges and limitations for the rest of his life. He also had to deal with assumptions and stigma from people who didn't know him. Kevin didn't let his disability get him down, though. He wanted to live his life to the fullest, and the people who knew him were in awe of his positive attitude. The first time Kevin saw Kim, he knew she was the one. He says it was love at first sight for him. He was worried, though, that Kim wouldn't be able to see past the wheelchair. Kim says that when she first saw Kevin, it wasn't the chair that she noticed. It was his infectious smile. Kevin's friends say that when they met Kim, they knew she was the genuine article. She didn't care at all about the chair. She was just into Kevin. Kim says the wheelchair never bothered her. She says Kevin's the most amazing person that she's ever known, and for her, it was love at first sight for her as well. Well, when Kevin proposed to Kim, she immediately said yes. She didn't have to think about it for even a second. Right after the engagement, the couple began planning their wedding, and they planned to get married at Caprock Winery in Lubbock, Texas. Kim was focused on wedding planning, but Kevin was a bit distracted. Kim worried a bit that Kevin may have changed his mind about getting married. She had no idea that he was actually having secret meetings behind her back, and he was taking his attention away from the wedding planning with these meetings. Kevin reminded Kim each day that he loved her and he couldn't wait to marry her, but she was still a bit worried. Well, finally, the day of the wedding arrived. Kevin had a huge surprise planned for his wife, and she had no idea that it was coming. When it was time for Kim to walk down the aisle and the priest asked everybody to stand, they did. Everyone, including Kevin. Kim looked down the aisle and saw Kevin stand up from his wheelchair and walk toward her. She had never seen him standing in her life. She broke down in tears. It turned out the secret meetings that were distracting Kevin were with a physiotherapist. They had fit Kevin with a prosthetic leg and were teaching him to walk. He wanted to surprise his bride by standing up beside her at the wedding. Walking with a prosthesis is not as easy as most people think. Kevin had to rebuild the strength in his leg so that he could hold his own weight. With the aid of training feet, Kevin regained his balance and his mobility. It was essential in helping him get ready for his prosthetic limb. Kevin was in a wheelchair for so long he had to work hard to walk on his leg on his wedding day. Kevin never let his wheelchair get him down, obviously, and he tried to keep doing things that he loved doing. He tried not to let the chair limit him at all. It wasn't until he was ready to marry Kim that he had the motivation to get a prosthetic leg. So after asking her to marry him, he immediately began working very hard for this big surprise. This disabled groom went behind his bride's back, and she broke down in tears on their wedding day. They were both able to stand during the ceremony, and it was beautiful. Kevin's looking forward to his life without the wheelchair, a life with his new bride. And now that he has two legs to stand on, he would have the freedom he always wanted. Kim says seeing her husband standing, that was the most wonderful surprise of her life. Subscribe for more.